Hi there, my name is Sean Jensen and I'm a success coach here at Trainual, and I am super excited to welcome you to this video. We are going to cover everything you need to know to start building out your business playbook. From setting up your account, to creating your content, to getting it assigned out to your team members, everything is going to be covered here. Plus, I'm going to share all kinds of pro tips and best practices to really help you rock and roll with Trainual. Now, if you're looking for a specific tutorial, check out the description below and you'll get the links to each of them there. All right, ready to jump in? Let's do this. FYI, I'm going to be working in the top tier level of Trainual. So if you see something that you don't currently have access to in your account, check out your billing and plans page and you'll be able to see how you can get it too. Your Trainual playbook should look and feel like your business. So let's jump in and make that happen. I'm going to start by clicking on the three-dot menu next to my little avatar here and click on Account Info. Now that is a pretty sweet logo right there, right? But it's not my logo. So let me change that out. I'm going to click on Update Logo. I'm going to select my actual logo. And there we go, right? That's starting to look more like my business. Now I can also change the logo background color and the accent color, which is going to change the color of the buttons and a few other features inside the program. Below the logo, I've also got custom brand styles, and this is where I can change the look of the text inside of my account. So I can change things like the color and whether it's bold or not, or underline, the justification. I can make those changes to each of those different heading styles and really create a consistent look and feel across my whole account. Okay, now I'm going to click Save Changes and let's see how this all looks. Wow, hey, that's looking like my business. That's looking pretty good, right? An important key to creating your business playbook is understanding how content is structured inside of Trainual. At the top, you have something called a subject. This is an intentional grouping of content related to company information, policies, or processes. Inside of subjects, you have topics. These are groupings of content that are a little bit more focused. And inside of topics, we have steps. This is where you'll actually document your business playbook content using text and multimedia. And there you go. Subjects, topics, and steps. The base organizational structure of content inside of Trainual. Okay, take just a few moments and think about everything you could possibly document about your business. Wait, come back. I know, it's pretty overwhelming, right? But if you think about it, everything you do in your business and everything you'll document will fit into the following three categories inside of Trainual. First, company. This is where you'll document all of your company information, from your super awesome origin story, your core values, your vision, your mission statement, everything there about your company. Basically, everything that makes your company your company. Policies. This is where you'll document your rules and your guidelines and your directives. This is the quintessential employee handbook area of your playbook. And finally, processes. This is where you'll document your standard operating procedures. Basically, anything about what your business does and how you do it gets documented right here. One of the best ways to plan out what you need to document in your playbook is to start with roles. Now, what the heck is a role anyway? A role in Trainual is a way for you to strategically assign content to your people based on what they do in your company. Why is that the best place to start? Because if you can identify what the roles are right from the beginning, it'll make it way easier for you to decide what type of content you need to create. Let me show you what I mean. In Trainual, I'm going to start by clicking People and then Roles. Then to add a new role, I'll click the Add Role button right up here. And here I've got two options. I can either type the name of my new role, or I can use this handy dandy list of suggested roles based on my own industry. Pretty cool, right? I'm going to go ahead and click on Office Manager and then hit Save. This will bring me to the Role Manager page for this new role, where I can enter a description for the role, and I can add the specific responsibilities for the role. Below that, I can add the specific subjects that will be assigned to anyone who gets this role. I can do that by clicking the Manage button right here, and then selecting the specific subjects, and hitting Save. Then I can assign the specific people on my team that need to have this role. Now you might be thinking, hold up, I haven't created any subjects yet, or I haven't added any of my people yet. No problem. You can totally do that later on. So start by identifying what your roles are going to be and create those in your Trainual account. Once you've got that done, it's going to be way easier to determine what content you actually need to create for those roles. Now here's a pro tip. When you assign content, you assign it at the subject level, which means that anyone you assign it to gets access to everything inside of that subject. What that means is if there's anything there that is appropriate for this role, but not these other roles over here, that should be its own subject. That way you can strategically assign it to just the people who need it to do their jobs. Let's talk about how to add your people to your Trainual account. That way they can take advantage of all the super awesome content you're putting together for them. In Trainual, I'm going to click on People, and then Manage. That will bring me to my Manage People page, where I can create and manage the profiles for the new people I add. Let's go ahead and add someone new. I'm going to click the Invite button right here, and then I'll enter their information. By clicking the Advanced Settings, I can do a few other things, like assign a role, a team, and even who he reports to. And then I can also decide whether his profile will show up in the directory. At the end, I can click Invite, or I can send the invite later on. My choice. Once I click Invite, my employee will receive an email with a link that will allow them to join the team. Now here's a pro tip. Start by inviting the people who will be joining you in creating the content you need to build out first. Having a clear and accurate org chart does wonders for helping your people know who they need to go to when they need something. And you can create one right inside your Trainual account. Pro tip, it's best to wait to create your org chart until after you've added all of your people. This is because the org chart relies on who someone directly reports to. And if that person isn't in the program yet, that leaves a gap in the org chart. Make sense? I'll start by clicking the Add Org Chart button. And now I can create my org chart in 2 easy steps. Step 1, I've got to select my highest ranking executive. So I'll do that right here. There we go. And once I've done that, on to step 2. I'm just going to go through all of my people and make sure I assign them to the person they directly report to. Now, FYI, if I leave anyone blank in here, they just simply won't show up on the org chart. And when I'm all done, I've gone through everyone, I've made all the assignments I'm ready to make at this point, I can click Save at the top of the screen, and then we can check out this super awesome masterpiece we just created. And there it is. My whole organization laid out all on one page for me. Beautiful. One last note. I can edit my org chart at any time by clicking the Modify Org Chart button at the top right of the screen. Now, wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to start building out your playbook completely from scratch? Like if some of that work was already done for you, wouldn't that just make your whole day better? Of course it would. That's why we have our pre-built templates. Now, if you've not checked out our templates yet, you should, because they're awesome. The whole idea is that it's super nice to not have to start completely from scratch. So these are subjects that are already framed out. They already have topics in them. The topics already have steps in them. And the steps already have content in them. And all you have to do is add the template to your account and then customize it to your needs. Let's show you how to do that. You can find the templates at the top of the Company, Policies, and Processes pages. And yes, the templates that show up are specific to that particular page. So I'm going to scroll through my templates until I find one that I want to add. There we go, company messaging. When I click on it, I'll be able to actually preview this template, get a feel for what's in there. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. I want to use it. I'll just click on the Add Template button right down here at the bottom of the page. From here, I can go to the template, and now I can start customizing this for my needs. Super easy. Time saved. You're welcome. Creating a new subject in Trainual is so easy that even my daughter Adria can do it. In fact, she did. She built out a whole process subject about how to take care of her pet hamster Snickers. True story. So if she can do it, you totally can. Now the first thing I need to do is decide where in Trainual this is going to live. Is it company information? Is it more of a policy? Is it a process? This is going to be an industry overview subject, so I'm going to keep it right there in company. I'll start by clicking the Add Subject button, right up here at the top right. Then I'll enter the title. Pro tip, it's a good idea to determine a standardized naming format for all of your subjects. That way things stay consistent all the way across the board. Next, I'll add in a subject owner. And this is awesome because this allows me to designate someone who will be the owner of this subject from beginning to end, from creating it, to publishing it, to assigning it. Everything. Yay for delegation! I can also add in a brief description that will let my users know exactly what will be covered in this subject. We'll take a look at advanced settings later. For now, I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and zing! There is my brand new subject, all ready for me to start editing and adding my super awesome content to it. Now that I have this start for my industry overview subject, my next step is going to be to start outlining the topics that I want to cover inside of it. The best way to start doing this is by thinking through things chronologically. What's the first thing I want to cover? In this subject, the first thing I want to cover is the shipping industry. So I'm going to go ahead and just type the shipping industry. And then I'll click the Add Topic button. Or I can click Enter or Return as well. Great. And now I can add my second topic. And a third. Now that I have my topics in place, let's go back and start outlining the steps that will go inside them. To do that, I'm going to start with my shipping industry topic. I'll hit the little arrow next to it, and that will drop me down to the step level. So let's add some steps. Okay, that's good for the first topic. Let's move to the next one and add some steps there. Pretty simple, right? Now you can create an outline for your entire subject and get it all ready for you to start adding content. Pro tip, you can drag and drop to move things around. So maybe I want this value proposition step to be at the top of this topic instead of at the end. Easy, easy. Just moved it up. There it is. With my subject all framed out, it's ready for me to add the content. So I'm going to jump into the first topic here, the shipping industry. I'll just click on it. And now I'll just start typing in the first step. Now I can use the toolbar up above to change the style of the text. I can make it bold, I can italicize it, I can change the color, I can change the size. All those tools are available there. Pro tip, because I've already set up my custom brand styles in my account settings, I can use the paragraph styling tool to use those brand styles in my text. And that will allow me to create a consistent look across all of my content. One of the best ways to keep your people engaged in the content you've assigned them is to not give them big walls of text to have to deal with. I mean, come on, that's what physical handbooks are for, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some multimedia intentionally into my content here. To do that, I'm going to use the Quick Embeds tool. Quick Embeds is this blue lightning bolt icon in the toolbar. If I click on it, you'll see YouTube's in there, images in there, PDFs in there, all kinds of other tools that you can embed right inside of Trainual. Now I already got a URL for a video from YouTube that I want to go ahead and embed. So I'm going to click YouTube, and then I'll paste that URL right here and click embed. And boom, there's the video all ready to go. Pro tip, check out our integration with Loom that will let you record and embed your own videos right inside of Trainual. And now you know how to spice up your content with informative, engaging, and yes, even fun multimedia that your people will thank you for. Teaching people how to do something is important, but assessing whether they can actually do what you've taught them how to do, that's critical. Now there are lots of different ways to assess learning. One of the simplest ways to do that is through everyone's favorite thing in the whole world to do, tests. Inside a Trainual subject, tests can be placed anywhere before or after topics. So to add a new test, you'll just type the name of that test down here, and then click the Add Test button. By the way, you don't have to call them tests. They can be quizzes, they can be knowledge checks, whatever you want to call them. Now let's jump in and build out this test. To do that, I'll just click right on the title. Let's focus on these test settings on the left-hand side. You have the minimum passing score, a place where you can add a brief description for the test. Question order lets you decide how you want the questions displayed, whether in the original order you wrote them or in a randomized order. Number of questions to display will actually let you create a question bank and then decide how many of those questions show up on the test. And finally, send test responses by email just simply lets you decide who is going to get notified with the test results. Now let's start adding some questions to this test. I'll do that by clicking the Add Question button. Now I've got two answer types I can choose from, either multiple choice or written response. Up above, I can add a question prompt. And then I can add the answer choices below. Be sure to select the right answer from the list. You can add as many questions as you want to your test. That said, we do recommend about 5 to 10 questions max. Just like before when we were building out our step content, the question prompt allows us to use the same multimedia tools. So we can put in pictures in here, we can put images and attachments, emojis, you name it. You can make these questions just as dynamic and fun as your actual content. Everyone likes a good status, right? Well, so do Trainual subjects. Every topic and every test has a status. This little circle tells me the status of this topic. This one's gray, which means it's in draft status. But there are two other statuses: pending review and finished. Let's say I've assigned the creation of this topic to someone else on my team because they are the subject matter expert. But I want to have the final say before it gets published. This is where statuses are going to help me out. When my subject matter expert is done building out the topic, they can change the status to pending review. That will change the little circle to yellow, and that's a visual indicator to me that this is ready for me to review. Once I've done that and I sign off, everything looks great, I can change the status to finished. And that lets Trainual know that this topic is ready to be published. Statuses are going to let us work some magic when we publish this subject. More on that later. Before you actually publish this subject, you have some decisions to make about how your people are going to experience it. Let's take a look at those settings now. Inside this subject, I'm going to click the three-dot menu at the top right here. And then click Advanced Settings. Now we can take a moment and look over the settings from before, including the title, the subject owner, and the description, and make sure those are accurate. Now we're going to take a look at the advanced settings. If required completion of subject is turned on, your people will need to mark their steps completed, and they'll get reminders if they haven't completed their content. If it's turned off, that subject will be marked as a reference subject, which just simply means that anyone can access it at any time. If Enable Due Date is turned on, you can specify a time frame in which they have to complete it from the day it's been assigned to them. If Force Order of Topics and Tests is turned on, your people will need to complete the subject in the original order. For example, my people will need to complete the shipping industry topic here before they can move on to the quiz. And they'll need to complete and pass the quiz before they can move on to the product and services topic, just like that. Expiring completion will let you specify a certain amount of time to go by before the completion percentage goes back down to 0 and your people need to complete it again. This is great for things like recertifications and content reviews. If lock subject is turned on, only an admin can unlock it for editing. And if display owner is turned on, everyone will be able to see who owns and is the main point of contact for this subject. When you're done, click Save. Pro tip: it's a good idea to make these decisions before you actually publish the subject. However, you can edit them at any point in time in the future. Okay, now I've got my subject all ready to publish, or at least ready enough to publish. To do that, I'm going to click on the Publish switch right here. And you'll see that my entire subject has been laid out for me. Now this is where those statuses are going to come back and make some magic for us. You can see that I've got a topic and a test here with a green circle next to them. That means finished. Below that, another topic and a test that have a yellow circle next to them, which means pending review. And the last two here have a gray circle next to them, which means draft. Now down below, I've got two buttons, Publish as is and Finish all and Publish. If I click Publish as is, Trainual will only publish out the topics and tests that are marked finished. Anything that's marked pending review or draft won't be published at this time. That's right, I can sail this ship while I'm still building it. Later on, when those topics and tests are ready, I'll just change the status to finished and they will get sent out to everyone who's been assigned to that subject. Clicking Finish all and Publish will force finish all of the topics and tests and publish the whole subject out at once. Pro tip: there is a tendency to want to wait until everything is done and looks perfect and pristine. You don't have to do that. When something is ready enough, publish it and get it out there. When my subject is ready and published, it's time to assign it out to my people. Now, I can do that in two different ways. First, in the Users Assigned box, I can click the Manage Users button. Then I can click on Assign User and select the people I want to assign this to. Just like that. And then I'll click Save and then Confirm. And there we go. These people have now been assigned. But by far the best way to do this is by using roles. Previously, we talked about how to set up roles and how to assign them to our people. Here is where that work is going to come back and help us big time. In the Roles Assigned box, I'm going to click on Manage Roles. And here I can pick from any one of those roles that I already created. Or I could do a search for one. If I need to add a new role, I can do that right here. Pro tip: I can assign this subject to more than one role. That way, I'm strategically assigning it to only the roles that actually need it. When I've selected all the required roles, I just click Save, and bam! Everyone who has those roles that I selected will be assigned this content. As we've discussed, organization is super important as you're building out your company playbook. Collections are about to level up your process organization. On my processes page, you'll see that I've already set up a bunch of collections like general and sales and marketing, customer experience, and so on. And inside each of those collections, I've placed the process subjects that relate to that specific area. These make it super easy for me and my people to see where these processes fit in my business. So how do we set up these collections? It's pretty easy. I'm going to scroll back up to the top of my page here, and on the top right, I'll click this little arrow and then click Add Collection. Now I can name my collection, and I can select any of the subjects that I want to appear in that collection. Now I don't have to add any subjects at this time. I can just create the collection and add the subjects later. And now I'll click Save. And that will bring me to my brand new collection where I can see what I've added. I can always edit this collection at the top left next to the title. I'll hit the little 3-dot menu right there. By the way, process subjects can only exist in one collection at a time. Now, if I go back to my processes page, I'll see that my new collection has been added right to the top of the list. Here are a few things I can do with my brand new collection. I can drag and drop to place it somewhere else in my collections list. I can hit the plus sign next to it to add a brand new subject to the collection. Or I can use the three-dot menu to pin it to my side navigation. That way I can have easy access to the processes I work with most. Pro tip: any process subjects that have not already been added to a collection will show up at the bottom of the list in the ungrouped collection. From here, you just have to move it up to the collection that you want it to be in. Just like that. You've added your people, you've created your content, you've published it, and you've assigned it. Yay! Well, what does this look like for your people? Let's take a look. When anyone logs into Trainual, they'll land on their My Desk page. Now, depending on what permission level they may have different options in the navigation bar. I'm logged in as a general user. At the top of my desk, I have the Up Next box, and this is going to show me the next things I need to work on. To the right, I have my completions box, and this is where I can see how I stack up to the rest of my company. Yeah, right now I'm sitting at 18%. Got to do a little bit of work there. On the bottom of the page, I'll see all of the subjects that I've been assigned. I'm going to click on my first one here, Welcome to Kessel Run Shipping Company. Ooh, sounds exciting. Now I can see the contents of this subject as well as my progress through it. Below that, I can see the origin story topic, but I can see that I can't jump into this second quiz or this third topic. I'm not there yet. Let's jump into this origin story topic. From here, the navigation is pretty straightforward. I have the steps on the left, and the content for the step I'm working on is on the right. I'll just review my content, and then on the bottom, click Mark Completed. That will take me to the next step, and you'll see it's marked the previous step as completed, and move my progress forward. Now I'll just complete this step. And the next one. And I've completed the topic. Let's check out the quiz. I'll click Start Now. And there's my quiz question. And I'll click Submit Answers when I'm all done. That was pretty easy, right? And that's how your people will navigate through the content you've assigned them. Pro tip: if you've enabled the directory in your account, they can click on People, and they'll be able to see who their coworkers are and learn a little bit more about them by clicking on their picture. Okay, so you've got your content created, you've got your people assigned, and they're working on it. Or are they? Let's find out. On the reports page, you've got 3 reports: subject report, people report, and latest activity report. On the subject report, you'll see the basic stats for each of your published subjects, including users assigned and the average completion. By clicking on a subject title, you'll be able to see everyone who's assigned to the subject, as well as their completion rate and the date it was assigned, and a few other stats. For tests, you'll be able to see how they responded on each attempt. The people report will show the number of subjects assigned to each team member, average completion rate, and when they were last active. All of this data can be downloaded as a CSV spreadsheet. The latest activity will give you a rundown of everything going on in your account. You can even filter by activity. Pro tip: if you accidentally delete a subject, topic, or step, you can filter by deletion and recover it by clicking the curvy arrow. We have covered a lot of ground here, from setting up your account to creating your content to assigning it out to your teams and everything else in between. So by now, you are a Trainual expert, right? Hey, we get it. Everyone needs a little help from their friends sometimes. And hey, we are your friends, and we're here to help. Here's how anyone on your team can get Trainual help. Inside your account, on the bottom left next to your avatar, click the 3-dot menu, and then click Help. That will bring you to the Help Center, where you've got access to live and recorded training, guides, tutorials, and a whole bunch of other resources covering everything we've talked about today and a whole lot more. If you're looking for something specific, try the search bar. And if you're still not finding what you're looking for, just click the chat bubble on the bottom right, and you can get help from a real live human Trainual expert. Well, that just about does it for me. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me through this video. I hope it's been helpful and has given you what you need to know to get started with Trainual. As a reminder, I've been working in the top tier level of Trainual for this video. So if you saw any features you don't currently have in your account, check out the Billing and Plans page and you can learn more about how to get them. And obviously, feel free to reach out if you have any questions whatsoever. Thanks so much and have an awesome rest of your day.